Double consciousness. This concept was given by W. E. B. Du Bois, presented in his book The Souls of Black Folk, published in 1903. Du Bois developed this idea while observing the lives of African Americans who were struggling with their identity in a society dominated by white culture. He described this condition as two souls, two thoughts, two reconciled strivings in one body. This shows a deep internal conflict where a person feels divided within themselves. In simple words, double consciousness can be defined as a person who has two identities at the same time. They see themselves in two different ways through their own culture, through the eyes of dominant society. So it is likely living between two identities. Key ideas of the concept. There are several important ideas connected to double consciousness, like identity conflict, two cultural perspective, psychological struggle, result of racism and colonialism. In identity conflict, a person feels confused about their identity because they belong to two worlds. In two cultural perspective, they try to balance between their own tradition and dominant cultural expectations. In psychological struggle, this situation creates stress, anxiety, and emotional pressure. Racism and colonialism mainly develops in societies affected by racism and colonial rule. So it is not just personal, it is also social and historical. How double consciousness works. Let us understand how this concept works in real life. A person feels proud of their own culture. At the same time, they feel pressure to follow dominant culture. They try to fit into both societies, but the problem is they are not fully accepted in either one. As a result, they feel confused and divided. They develop an in between identity. This is the core idea of double consciousness. Let us talk about examples. In literature, in the novel Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe, the Igbo people face British colonization. They are forced to adopt Western culture, but they still try to follow their tradition. This creates a strong identity conflict which reflects double consciousness. It also still relevant today, like students balancing modern lifestyle and traditional values, people living abroad managing two cultures, social media users showing a different identity online versus real life. All these situations show how people live with dual identities. Double consciousness also faced criticism. Like this theory is important, but some critics have raised objections. They argue that it focuses too much on race only. It does not apply to all types of identities. It overgeneralizes people experiences. It focuses more on problem than solutions. They believe the critics like Stott Hall or Paul Gilroy believe identity is more flexible and not always divided. There is another alternative view, which is hybridity. It is an important idea given by Homi K. Bhabha. He introduced the concept of hybridity. According to him, cultures do not always clash, instead, they mix together. This creates a new hybrid identity. So, identity is not always a struggle, it can also be creative and positive. Despite criticism, double consciousness is still very powerful and relevant because it explains modern identity crisis. It is still visible in post colonial identities societies. It highlights psychological experiences of individuals. It helps us understand cultural conflicts in today's world. Many people today still experience this feeling of not fully belonging. Thank you.